All right. Well, I'm really excited for this episode because I have the legend, Chris Thompson, who, we've met many, many years ago. So, Chris, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Well, we try to keep these things under an hour, so we're gonna really push that. We got so much cool stuff, but if you can, kind of just walk us through, your resume a little bit, from college on to where you're at now.
Yeah, no problem. Try to remember everything. Obviously, our roots go as far back as Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, for us two. When we first met, and boy, it feels like ages ago.
I know you don't look like a kid anymore, man. You got a little gray in there now. I mean, come on.
I got three of my own now. Yeah. But playing at Manheim Central High School, which was an awesome opportunity. Not many kids get to have. 17 district championships out of 20 years, playing for a high school Hall of Fame coach and Mike Williams, who's in the Hall of Fame, Pennsylvania Hall of Fame, who's had great ones like Matt Nagy, Jeff Smoker, Jason Farmer, Dan Kreider, who played in the Steelers.
Fullback, right?
Yeah. I mean, the list goes on, and Evan Simon now, who's going to Rutgers on a full ride, that played quarterback. I mean, it's not many kids get that opportunity to play for an elite high school program like that, which also set us up for, the next thing, which is college, and, having the opportunity to play for Danny Hale, another Pennsylvania Hall of Fame, NCAA Hall of Fame coach, at Bloomsburg University. And making it to the national championship level my junior year, and playing on ESPN against Delta State, and then going back to the playoffs my senior year, but losing to Grand Valley State, who at the time was head coached by Brian Kelly, who's now at Notre Dame. And, there's so many awesome memories that I've had just from high school and college, and never thought in my wildest dreams that, at the age of 41, have met some of the people I've met, the relationships I've built, and some of the organizations that I've worked for in the professional world. I mean, especially just in the last 2 years alone, 4 different teams in 2 years. Albany Empire of the Arena Football League to the Alliance of American Football League down in Atlanta with the Atlanta Legends, to the Chicago Bears internship with Coach Nagy and that organization, to then most recently with the New York Guardians of the XFL. Never would have thought, all that travel and all those opportunities in 2 years. And it took some time. I'm not gonna lie. When this COVID-19 thing hit, was not in a good place, because I was questioning what I was doing, what I was chasing, where I was, being so much time away from my wife and kids, and it took me a little while. It actually took me a paver patio to kind of be therapeutic and forget all that.
It looked like you were doing some home projects there on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, you try to stay busy. There's not much. There's not much sports being played right now.
No.
So yeah. I mean, so it's been a crazy journey. Before mostly spent 13, 14 years in the arena football world. Pretty much coached in almost every indoor league, arena league out there, still today, and even ones that don't exist anymore. And it's, all of those experiences have, given me so much knowledge and kind of helped, the path that it's taken me to where I am today.
Well, we met back in, I want to say it was 2003 or 4. And, I was, young and naive, and I still am, but, I wanted to kind of get into that arena world. And there was, there really was only 2 leagues back then. there was, well, three. You had the NIFL, right?
Yep.
National Indoor Football League. That was kind of like a AF2, little
Yep.
different style of play. And then the Arena Football League. And so at that time I had the Lancaster Lightning semi-pro team, which is just, guys typically pay to play. They provide their own equipment. I think we had a really cool thing in Lancaster because this community really supported it. So, but I wanted to go bigger. And so I think after our first year of the Lightning up there, that's when we met. And because you wanted to go to that next level and up there too. I mean, you played at Bloomsburg. I mean, that's the PSAC, people say D2 football. I mean, the PSAC had some unbelievable talent, and, we had a couple of those guys. And I remember we were starting to try to get some of those guys to the next level from the Lightning. And so I think that's probably how you probably came over to us, is we were really focused on that. So I think was our first trip, I want to say we went to Huntsville, Alabama for a workout.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. I think there was a few of us that went down there, and there was a receiver there called Chris McKinney.
Yep.
He had the dreads. I don't know if you remember. Solid.
I ended up Chris McKinney and I lived together in Fayetteville, North Carolina, when the Cape Fear Wildcats existed.
I didn't know that. I knew he played there with Siegfried, who we met back then too. And
we lived together. Yep, absolutely.
Chris was crazy. Chris he played for me in Florida on the Tarpons, and then I hired him as my head coach in St. Louis, and I had to fire him because he was a little too hot-headed. But love the guy, man. I love him.
He's got great passion. Yep.
Whew.
Yep. I've coached against him over the years, and I think he was involved with the Raleigh. Was it the Raleigh team?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think just a couple of years ago, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was pretty good. Do you remember who the head coach was in Huntsville when we went down? Was it Kevin Guy?
Kevin Guy.
Because he's been in arena football forever.
Arizona Rattlers. I mean, he's a legend, you know, and now he's in the IFL and in Arizona still, and does an excellent job recruiting and coaching and winning program year after year, and have a lot of respect for him. And it's funny you mentioned that because, we worked out for him that year. You helped me get in front of Kevin Guy, Chris Siegfried, and Les Moss.
Yeah, Les came to our workout.
Yep, was at Wilkes-Barre Scranton as the head coach for a long time. And then him and I worked together recently with the Albany Empire.
Damn.
And that was the first time.
It's so small, man. Yeah. The world is so small. It's crazy. Well, you know what? I felt like that year, it was like, I felt like I was taking my kids on like recruiting trips or something. So like when I took my daughter for her first college recruiting trip, I was like, damn, this is like back in the day. And it was,
cool. And because of that, it helped kind of pave the way for me in arena football, and both Les and Chris Siegfried had offered me contracts to come play respectively. And I chose to go with Chris over Les, and, hindsight's 2020, and ended up being traded away or the option of being traded away from Fayetteville, North Carolina to Macon, Georgia, where the head coach was Mike Wood, and another, long-standing.
Oh, he's the arena football legend. Because wasn't he a quarterback too?
Yeah, he was. So again, all those guys and names and stuff, and then being able to work with Coach Moss up in Albany, and the success that young.
That's pretty cool though when that comes back around like that.
Yeah, and different experiences, and it's just it's neat.
So like after you had that first year and you played kind of AF2, and then that's when I got the crazy idea to buy a team, save a team that was about to fold, where we just played away games. And that first game was I remember Tupelo, Mississippi. We had, I think, like 48 or like, it was not maybe 72 hours to get there and play. And we had never practiced indoor football. It's like, what the hell were we thinking? Yeah. And I just remember going down there. I'm like, oh man, we got a good team. And we did. We had some solid players. And I remember we got smoked. like we didn't have like I was on the field as the coach. You were calling the offensive plays, and some fans were giving me beer throughout the game. I don't even drink beer, but it was like, shit, I need something.
Oh,
And I think they put up like 100 on us,
did.
and
Yep.
they were doing onside kicks, and it was
They
but it was
embarrassed
fun,
us.
man.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I remember because after that, as league president, we brought indoor and arena football back to Tupelo. And so when I went back, I was like, all right, here was that crappy hotel they put us up in, like, right down here. And
I'll never
fun,
forget Tupelo, Mississippi, because of my quarterback scar on my chin.
A couple stitches isn't going to bother you.
Got stitched up, came back out in the second half.
Did they stitch you up in the locker room?
Yes, they did.
I just remember blood and everything, and I was like, oh, shit. I don't think we had a backup quarterback. Did you play defense? I'm not sure. I mean,
I did not.
We took vans or we rented SUVs or something.
Yep.
And
kick.
But it was fun.
Kick and quarterback. Yep.
You just got to jump at that. And I think a huge difference when you do that stuff, because, in all the leagues we've been in other than maybe the Arena Football League, stuff happens with teams and the league tries to put in a filler team or something, or you schedule a non-league game. And, the lines are crucial. I mean, that's a big separator from a legit team to like a semi-pro team coming in.
Yeah.
And then obviously you need a good quarterback, which you were, but you didn't have much help. But that was fun. I mean, Doug, the one kid, Doug, who was a Marine, man, he played hard and he got leveled, knocked out, kept playing. Like he did really good on kick returns, I think. So, but we didn't have Sean Foxworth, did we? You remember him?
Oh, I remember Fox. Yeah,
man. So I can't remember if he was with us, because I know we got him on board in Atlantic City at some point. I just can't remember if I think he was there first.
I had him coached him in, at Reading Express all those years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
And Brett Kalk, Brett was a guy.
Brett was from your
Yeah. And now he's a police officer here in Berks County. Yeah. So it's.
He's a big dude, man.
Yeah, he's still. I mean, what's crazy is he has 4 boys, and all 3 of his oldest 3 have all graduated high school and now moved on.
Wow.
And he still has his youngest, Xander, that is in high school now. And then in a couple of years, he's gonna be an empty nester.
Yeah, I'm there too.
Yeah, well, I know you're gonna have young ones that are under 10 yet. So.
When did you get married?
I got married. I was like 32.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever met my daughter Natira.
Yeah.
Because she would have been elementary school probably back then. She's 23, and then AJ, who was just a baby. He was born in 2003. He's 16.
Wow.
So it's like, man, and I don't dye my hair either. Look at that. I mean, AJ talks about my hairline a little bit, but hey, he thinks it's funny.
I keep my hair short so I don't show the gray.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Hey, listen, a little gray won't hurt anybody, but.
And then I just get it in my beard now.
Yeah. Oh, I noticed that too just the other day, and I'm like, oh shit. It's finally coming here. It's finally coming here.
Yeah.
So then I get the stupid idea of starting my own league.
Yeah.
Which was fun. And you were there from the beginning, really there too. I think you helped me run a tryout in Maryland or DC, like right when we announced the thing. We set up all the teams. And then the closest team to you was Johnstown, Pennsylvania, home of Slapshot, and nothing else but old buildings and that town. Ooh, that was different. Yeah. But man, they loved it.
They did.
They loved that. And you signed with them for the first year, I remember. And the team did pretty good there. Just missed out a game away from the championship. So that was fun. And then I started the Reading Express.
Yeah.
And Bernie Noratarski. Yeah. I think he was the first guy I hired in the front office. So I think he was kind of the assistant GM. And then I was like, dude, you're right here. You know, this is close to home. And then we hired Ali Guidry as the coach. And that team, I'll tell you what, man, that's maybe my second regret as far as selling a team, because, you know, me growing up 40 minutes away, and back then the arena was really nice. They were revitalizing some of that area. We had killer support. I mean, that team was probably the top team or two as far as attendance and everything. And how'd you guys do the first year? I sold it before the season started. I was still the league president at the time. You guys did pretty good that first year, right?
That was the final team I played for. You know, I mean, we had so many division championships, conference championships, and then we won in 2009. We won the league championship out in Casper, Wyoming, in front of a sellout crowd of 7,000 fans.
Nice.
You know,
that's a good atmosphere when you got that.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about crickets, though. I mean, we are from Reading, Pennsylvania.
It's the best when you're on the road, though, man. That place goes dead silent.
I mean, the Wyoming Cavalry had been around forever.
Oh yeah.
You know, and Arjorie Layton and her husband, you know, and we go in there and stick one on them to win it, you know, and I mean, I think we had less than 100 people there, you know, in attendance.
What year? Do you remember what year that was?
That was 2009. We won the championship, and
so I was like third year, because I think 16 was the first year of the Express.
Yeah.
So what'd you do? So you played in 16, and then 17 you were assistant coach?
Yeah. 2006 was my last year. 2007, Bernie offered, and the new ownership group, the Lavenders, Ted and Lisa, offered me a job, and I felt it was time to move on. And my first time working in sports, and ever since then I haven't looked back, and I've enjoyed, you know, the last.
So I'm partially responsible for the craziness that your family has to deal with.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah, don't
along
tell
with
your wife.
Bernie and so many others. Yeah, you know, but it's you know, I got the opportunity to work with Bernie for 5 years. What an awesome run we had, and it was really enjoyed. And we still have done things over the years. We've coached against each other, you know, when I was in Lehigh and he was in Harrisburg, and then we've coached together at college bowl games for a number of years, and then coached against each other in the Arena Football League. And so it's again, those are one of those relationships that I value tremendously, and we'll always value our friendship. So
how cool is it, though, you know, just about those relationships? So like you and I now, we're both 41. We've been in this almost 20 years. And so like, you can't really go anywhere. Like you can't play somebody and not really know anybody. I mean, it's like a huge fraternity, and it's really, really cool. I love it. And I love, like, you know, if we were competing against each other, because I'd love to just whip your ass, you know. It might not happen, you're a damn good coach, but like when you know somebody, it's like, man, it just makes it all the more, you know, better.
Yeah. And that's, you know, and that's what it is. I mean, it's about relationships and the people you've worked with or learned from along the way. I mean, at least this is for me, you know, and I've been very fortunate to work with some of the best in the business, you know, from guys like Kevin Gilbride, who has been a Super Bowl winning, you know, offensive coordinator, to now more recently, you know, as well as Matt Nagy, who's an up and coming NFL head coach with the Chicago Bears, and, you know, and then working with other guys like, you know, Jim Herman, who was our defensive coordinator in XFL New York, and CJ Ayu, who played in the NFL, Chris Hovan, who, you know, played in the NFL, and I've coached with him in arena as well as the college bowl games, and the list goes on. And, you know, I'm not ready for it to be over by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm just, you know, chomping at the bit to to see what's up and coming, because we need to get back to some normalcy and play some sports and give something for fans to cheer about and have some positive things in their lives other than all this negativity.
Yeah, no, and I think sports is such a great way to bring people together. So hopefully, these, I know soccer's going on right now. They're getting ready to get the NBA and baseball. And so hopefully, they keep, doing the right things and staying safe so that we can keep having that, because we don't want to take more steps back.
Yeah. Agreed.
But with your, over the years, what, I know you got some crazy stories. There's got to be a couple that are PG-13 that we can talk about. So give me like something crazy, or what just So I got to a point where nothing surprises me anymore.
No, I'm with you on that.
But I was surprised at one point.
So probably one of the craziest, and we still talk to this day, and I value our friendship tremendously. Coach Nagy introduced me to Coach Brad Childress. Okay. So Coach Childress, again, has been in the NFL for 20 years, maybe more. Been a head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. He also was the first head coach of the Atlanta Legends of the Alliance of American Football. And our offensive coordinator was Michael Vick. And this might have been the third or fourth day of training camp in San Antonio, Texas, where we had all Alliance teams were at. And it was the morning of the third or fourth day of training camp. And I get a text message from Coach Childress that says he's leaving the team, and he's resigning. And we were just getting ready to start practice within like the next half hour, 45 minutes. And we're all like, what do we do? What are we doing? I right away go to Billy Devaney, who was our general manager at the time. And he's another guy who, what an awesome opportunity to work with him. He spent 30 years, or damn near close to it in the National Football League, was a general manager, was a player personnel, scout, all those things. And, he was our general manager. And I said, did you just get the same text message that I did? He's like, no. I go, well, we just lost our head coach. Coach Childress just decided to quit the team and leave. And I knew right away something was up. I knew it probably was Kansas City with Coach Andy Reid because of his friendship relationship he has with him, or it was going to be with Coach Nagy in Chicago. I just had that feeling. I knew something was going on.
Right.
And then obviously it came to fruition that was the case.
Where did he end up going? Chicago.
He was in Chicago with Nags, and so it was. So I mean, even up until that point, the opportunity to work with him and Billy Devaney and all the other, Michael Vick and getting to know Charlie Ebersol and all the other great people that were heavily involved in, Hines Ward. I remember standing in practice having 20-minute long conversations with an NFL Hall of Fame wide receiver, Hines Ward. He comes out to practice and he calls me, "Hey, boss man." And I'm thinking to myself, that guy just called me boss man. And
he has me confused.
He's wrong. There's something wrong there, But what an awesome guy, and so many other stories and relationships like that. And it's just never would have thought my wildest dreams from Manheim Central High School to Bloomsburg University that I'd be working 15 plus years in professional football, arena football, and in every league just about out there. And it's, it's not over yet. I'm not done with it.
And it all started with some road trips.
To Tupelo, Mississippi.
Oh, man.
And this scar. Oh, I'll tell you
no workers' comp. No. What the hell were we thinking?
What was I thinking? Yes.
It's crazy. Because then I think after that we played Atlantic City after Tupelo.
Yep.
And that's where Foxworth was playing. So we got to
Brett
play
Coke
against him.
There. Yep.
And then we went to Florence.
Yep.
And did you didn't you guys with the Express play in the championship in Florence too?
Yeah.
Is that the one that you lost to Lakeland?
That was one we lost to Lakeland. Yeah, we played Florence.
I hate Lakeland, man.
Yeah.
They beat our ass in the championship.
Yeah. Yeah, tough place to play. And what was crazy is, so I'm the backup quarterback and kicker for the
You were
team.
kicking?
Yeah. And then ended up helping call on the plays and stuff as the offensive coordinator, the year before. And, I'm working for my dad doing flooring, doing manual labor, out of college with a degree, and, had left selling cars at Hondrew Ford in Mannheim, and, where I worked almost 2 years while I was still playing or chasing the arena playing dream. And then next thing you know, I'm working with Bernie and for the Reading Express. And yeah, it's been, sometimes I try to remember everything that has occurred since, in 15 years. And,
it's hard to, there's so much.
I took too many shots to the head,
Right. You're like, huh? Concussion 6. No, and there's it starts to get a little gray, like with some of the details, because it's like, man, there's so much that has happened in that time, and so many places, so many cities. Like, I know as a league president, I started to forget sometimes what city I was in for the press conferences. So I would typically write it down because I knew I was going to screw that up at some point. But no, it's good. I don't know if you remember Gary Tuffert.
Yeah.
But he worked in the league with me, and he was always in Reading. So he and I
remember, yeah.
He has got a production company now, and I had him, we had him do some stuff for the soccer team that I had in Florida. He's living down there now. But no, I mean, I think it's just so much fun. How do you like what area do you like the most? I mean, I would say probably playing, because I know how much of a competitor you are, but I see
those
have
days,
ops.
Those days are over. Those days are
yeah.
over.
Can you even throw your arms anymore?
Yeah, I still throw a lot. I mean, when I'm doing my coaching sessions with these high school kids and middle school kids, and I still do a lot of throwing and can still sling it. It just takes me a little bit longer to warm up, and I can't
recover.
Yeah, I need to recover. But I mean, look, I pretty much have done it all except be an owner. I really have. Been
don't do that. It's not worth it.
No, I don't have any desire. My wife has no desire of that.
Yeah.
But
if I do that again, I'm getting divorced, is what I was told. So, it's like, do I do it or not? No.
Yeah. I mean, I've been a head coach for 8 years. I've been an assistant GM for 11. I've been, a DFO. I've been a manager of football ops. I've been a player personnel scouting, liaison. I mean, I've literally worn pretty much every hat. I've been in sales. I mean, there's not, other than being an owner, I don't know what else is left, that I haven't experienced or done. And, I love it all. I love working in sports. It's my passion. I love football. I've played sports my whole life, played baseball and football in college my first year until I realized my scholarship was in football, and had to realize, I needed to be there if I was going to compete for the starting quarterback job. And so, yeah, that's a great question. People ask me all the time, like, what do you love? Well, look, I love coaching. Okay. Hands down. I love working with great athletes and trying to make them better and get the most out of them. But I also really enjoy, the personnel side of it too, and trying to build a team. I mean, that was probably single-handedly one of the most fun I've ever had. And I've been involved in being a GM and a head coach and selecting your team. But the XFL draft, inaugural draft, was awesome. Drafting 75 players, 70 players, whatever it was, spending over 2 months every day watching hundreds of thousands of players, with myself, John Peterson, Trip McCracken, and Evan Ostro. Those were us, along with Kevin Gilbride. Those were those were the five horsemen that pretty much, you know, built the New York Guardians. And then having say and having opinion of who to select, or, you know, grading players that we thought, you know, could be a fit for our team. It was exciting. It was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it, but also enjoy the coaching aspect of it just as much, if not more. But there's probably less stability in coaching, you know.
You're going to get fired eventually, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you haven't coached long enough.
You know, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, and for me, it's like, okay, so back-to-back organizations or leagues that don't exist. Actually, back-to-back, because you got
Arena
the
football
League that's gone. You've got the Alliance of American Football that's gone, and now the XFL gone.
What the hell are you doing, man? You ruining all these leagues or what?
Well, think about it a step further. The two teams that I spent 12 years with, 5 in Reading and 7 in Lehigh, those teams don't exist anymore. Yeah. So
it's a like, tough business, definitely.
It is. But it's like, you know, all those things are like in my head, like, what are you doing? Why are you, what are you chasing? What are you trying to do with your career? And ultimately, I want to be at the highest level. I want to be in the NFL, you know, in some capacity. And, you know, the coaching internship that I had with Chicago was awesome. And the people I worked with and the ones I met, you know, obviously having the prior relationship with Coach Nagy, you know, but I wasn't with him. I was, you know, we crossed paths maybe a couple of times. I was with so many other people within that organization. And
but that relationship, you know, helps you get in the door somewhat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
you know, I
wouldn't have gotten that opportunity if it wasn't for the relationship and connection that I still have with him to this day, you know, and we've stayed in football all these years, you know.
Because Nagy was playing arena football when we were in it, right?
Yeah,
like early on. Because he was in Columbus, I think.
Yeah, he was with the Columbus Victorians, New York Dragons, Georgia Force with Doug. What was Doug's? He was Chicago Bears, 46 defense. That was his. I can't think of it. Doug Plank. Plank. You know, was his former head coach. So, you know, it is a small. When you're in, it's a small fraternity world. There's no doubt about it. But it's hard to get in that fraternity.
Yeah, I know. I mean, exactly what you struggle with is what I do, and it drives Leah crazy because like you, I want to be at the highest level in a front office. And, you know, my challenge has been I've always been my own boss. You know, I've had some failures. I've had some success. But, I mean, the failures are what are most, you know, prominent out there. And, you know, can I work for somebody else? Can I, you know, do it? And I'll tell you, it's tough, man. It is tough. I don't like when Leah tells me what to do, let alone somebody else. But I could deal with her telling me what to do. I can't with other people. I mean, I can, but I think for me going forward, my last day was like about a week ago with the baseball team here. But any opportunity I look at now, it's all about the people.
Yep.
I want to work with people that are going to mesh well, that are, you know, going to support each other, you know, and be on the same team. And I think that's important. I learned more about that just from having people on the podcast and, you know, hearing what their number one criteria is for a position. And that wasn't mine. Mine was, I just need to get in with the baseball team here, you know, that'll do, you know, well over what I would do with an indoor football team. You know, I mean, our partnership sales were, you know, well over 1 million, tickets well over 1 million, and we've never played. So, you know, I want to get there. The challenge is I'm 41, and like you, I've moved a bunch, and I've kind of moved a bunch to kind of get to that next level. And if you look back at, you know, that first year when we took over the travel team, and then Okay, so we took that, and it was what it was. And then next year, we started the AIFL and just tried to make it a little better. And so each year, just trying to build up. But now I'm at that point. It's like, the boss lady don't want to move no more, and I don't blame her because moving sucks.
Yeah.
But you have in our industry, unfortunately, it's almost the only way, to build up.
Oh, you're right. I mean, I've been fortunate. My wife Leanne works in the beer industry, and she has for almost 15 years now, and has a great company that she works for. A great job. She's a brand manager of a number of different beer brands. Labatt Blue is one of them. She's been in craft beer. She's been with Yingling. So Miller Coors is who she, Auriglio Beverage is who she works for. And, I know the Auriglios personally, and they're great people. They own, and that's where it always starts. It always starts at the top, the ownership group. And that's one thing I've learned with all the different organizations that I've been with is, I will, if I don't feel comfortable with them as an owner, I won't go and be their head coach or GM or whatever, DFO, whatever it would be. And, you hit it on the head. One of the best ownership groups I've ever worked for was the Clarks, Glenn and Dawn Clark and Mike Clark, their son.
Up in Lehigh.
Who owned the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks. Yeah. And, it's why I spent seven years with them, 7 seasons with them. And,
that might be a record for indoor football too. I mean, seriously, think about it. People don't stick around that long. So that's good.
And, and my family loved them. And, I think in return, they loved my family and watching us grow and being a part of the kids' lives. And, one of the things that I'm still, proud about that it doesn't exist anymore, but, we had started that junior football league in Lehigh Valley, and, these kids were playing arena football in the PPL center, mornings of our game days. And, so we started that and founded that. And the first year we had 4 teams, 50 kids. 2 years later, 12 teams, 200 kids were involved.
Damn.
And we generated over $50,000 with sponsorships and sales from it. And these kids got to be a part of living their dream in a sense.
They'll remember that for life, because I remember as a kid back in Lancaster, I played soccer, and Hershey Impact was like an indoor soccer team at Hershey Park Arena. And so we did that as well. We went and played for the game. I mean, I'm not a soccer guy now, but I will never forget that. And it's awesome to see when organizations we did a lot with soccer because it's easy.
What's even cooler with this too, Andrew, is because I'm unemployed right now and just coaching on the side with my elite skills coaching business, some of those kids that played are now in high school, and now I'm working with them.
That's awesome.
And it's like full circle, and it's so I and I've missed it. I've missed. I mean, I've been unemployed since March, in a sense. Mid-March, they shut the league down. April 10th, they told us all we're laid off. And the league was going bankrupt or was filing bankruptcy, and so here it is, July, there's no football to coach or be a part of right now. And so it was like, I felt it was the right time to do some one-on-one coaching sessions and get involved with middle, high school, pro guys as much as I could. And, I'm probably working with about a dozen kids,
Nice.
In a short period of time, but I still would like to pick up some more and still trying to pick up more.
Yeah, no, and I think, too, as people realize you're out there doing that stuff, I think it'll make it a lot easier, to, do you have a website or anything set up for that? Just doing it through social media?
Yeah, all through social media right now. I mean, it's obviously things that I want to do. And as we continue to grow and, get more clients, I want to do those things.
So tell me this. I'm friends with you on Facebook. How do I tell if it's you or your wife posting?
It's my wife. Yeah, it's my wife. I mean,
some of the stuff I was like, yeah, it might be Chris. I don't know.
no, it's
a little
not.
borderline, but
no, it's not. Absolutely not. You know.
Come on, don't lie, man. Don't lie.
No.
Don't hide behind the double name on there.
No, that's my wife. You know, that's Leanne, and honestly, it's why we removed me from us sharing the same page, because I don't.
I think I saw you post that or something. it referenced that, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I might very rarely, and I mean rarely.
Okay, now rare. Okay.
Very, very rarely. You know.
I'm gonna have to pull some of these out now.
But you know, it's I'm just, you know, I've been very fortunate and blessed, and I hope there's continued opportunities in the near future.
What do you are you still open to relocation and everything, or you need to
I
stay
am
kind
open to it. Yeah, I mean, absolutely open to it. I mean, you know, look at it. The last 2 years, I spent time living in Atlanta. I spent time living in New Jersey, you know, with the Guardians. Spent time up in Albany, New York, with the Albany Empire. So, and that's partially why it's been so hard for me and my family, is because I've been away from them. They've stayed here in Berks County, Pennsylvania, and I've moved with the job. And I'd love to get to a point where don't have to do that, and they can come with me, and you know.
It definitely is probably better, though. I will say, just from doing it the opposite way, I always have moved the family, and you know, I mean, my daughter's 23 now, but I mean, I know that you know affected her. AJ's in high school right now. I know, you know, you know, it's tough. So I think, you know, I'll probably be established once everyone's out of the house, unfortunately. But no, it's always a challenge, especially in football. You always see, you know, that, you know, as a coach, you know, a lot of coaches just move for the season, so it's not as bad. But if you're having to be there full time, definitely can be rough. But when the kids are young, it's good to stay at home. Yeah. So, and I think I was in Canton for 7.
Yeah, and that was like me with Lehigh for 7, you know, and before then, Reading, you know, and they got to experience that, and I got to be, you know, a big part of their lives, you know, in growing up, and not regretting not being there, you know. I had regrets over the last 2 years because of spending so much time apart, but I felt I was taking the right steps to get where
you definitely were,
you know, or where I wanted to go. And hopefully, you know, again, I never would have thought I'd get to work with Billy Devaney, Coach Childress, Coach Nagy, you know, Kevin Gilbride, both of them, his son and the dad, you know, Jim Herman, CJ Ayu. I mean, the list goes on. And, you know, hopefully, you know, it's funny because not long ago, I applied for the Bloomsburg University head coaching vacancy, opening, and didn't even get a Zoom or a phone interview.
Are you serious?
Nope.
Who'd they hire?
They hired Frank Sheptock. You know, Frank has been a coach in the college level, and he's been a high school coach, and you know, I'm sure that played into it. Where I've only coached at professional Valley College and Alvernia, both short stints at both places.
Oh yeah.
But again, you know, I've built or helped build organizations from the ground up. Had to work with budgets. Had to hire and fire people. You know, build the team from scratch. I've done all those things and had to do those things, and I've enjoyed every single time having to do those things. And you know, but you know, that was my alma mater, and didn't even get a
no. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
and even had a guy like Jari Evans, who's most notable, you know, Bloomsburg University graduate, scoreboard's named after him. You know, and he was owner of Albany Empire and the Philadelphia Soul, both organizations I've worked for. He even reached out on my behalf and didn't even get an interview. You know,
that's frustrating.
It is frustrating, but
at least give me the call as a courtesy.
You know, but I've gotten to know. You know, I've had conversation with Coach Sheptock, you know, a couple of times, and think he's a he's going to do great things there. And he coached at Berwick High School, which is Manheim and Berwick have a long history, over the years. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they can do. And, I've thought about getting into college coaching, but, again, you've got all these different colleges that some of them have canceled their fall sports. Others are going to try to play. And so it's, I don't know. I'm trying to keep a positive outlook and apply to as many places as I can.
The good thing is when you've been in it as long as you have too, there's bound to be something that is open from somebody that you know.
I hope.
And there will be. I mean, you never know. Maybe I'll start another team. No, I won't. I won't do that. Definitely not. Definitely not. I don't know where Lee is, but if I get something thrown at me, So no, I like it, but.
And I'm not ready to embark on that endeavor of being an owner. Okay, yeah. I'm not. I don't want to do it.
Don't do it. It sounds fun. The problem is everyone thinks it's easy. And that's why I think indoor football right now is just probably at its lowest point ever. Yeah. Like when we were getting into it, it's not like it was a lot, but AF2 was paying what, $250 or $200 and a $50 win bonus or something. Yeah. The NIFL teams were getting like $200. When we got the AIFL, it was $300 or $500, depending on what you were. And, arena football was good money back then. The thing,
and I'll just, be transparent. The thing that bothers me the most about indoor arena football is, there's a lot of under the table pain that is going on. And there's not fairness. There's not transparency,
But how do you fix that?
I don't know if you do. Maybe go to I don't know, a budget or a cap, a salary cap, and you force the management or owners to pay their players or their team the way they want to accordingly. I don't know, but it was one thing that frustrated me because I worked for owners that did things by the book. And
come on, just give me another 500, please.
No, and I lost players to other teams because of it, But I will say this: we were always in the playoffs. We always were winning, and we were always competitive. Even though we did it the right way.
Yeah, and I still think you can.
There's no doubt in my mind you can, but everybody has to be on that same page, and there's ways to work around it. Legally or within sponsorships and things of that nature. But
coaches get creative.
They do. Management gets creative. Or say, hey, we got this junior league. We need referees or we need coaches for it. There you go. There's ways of doing it. Rather than just saying, hey, we're going to give you an extra $500 a game.
Yeah. Our the way our soccer league did it was you could pay anybody whatever you want. Now, it's good and bad. Now, I was on the low end of ownership in that league. Some of these guys are worth some big-time millions, and here I am. And so it makes it I couldn't compete. Yeah. Our first year, we won four games, lost – I forget how many games we played. It was probably 16 losses or 18 losses. So it definitely makes it tough. Now, years 2, 3, 4, 5 – I got a better feel of the players for soccer. I was able to negotiate better, and we were competitive, but not good. Football, you always got that. I mean, we ended up the last few years that I was in it with the X League, we just had a salary cap.
Yeah.
So, which I liked because I knew, okay, hey, I got a couple local guys here that are studs.
Yep.
They're not doing it for the money.
Correct.
So they'll take $50 and like some food or something.
And
to get a better team.
Right. Nobody should be doing it for the money because it's all about the opportunity to get film, get better, gain experience, and hopefully have opportunities to continue to climb the ladder.
That's what you would expect and want. But some of these people, as you know, like this is what they live off of. which I don't know how the hell they do it, but
it's funny you say that because, so within my first 2 years of being a head coach, so I was an interim first in Reading, for 3 or 4 games, and then they hired me full time the year after that. Then I left, and then to go for a small stint in the Arena Football League, and then with Philadelphia Soul, and then had the opportunity to go to Lehigh. After their first year, they had only won 3 games,
Wow.
and 2 or 3 games, and in order to take the job, had to accept the assistant coaching staff already in place. So I couldn't even come in and make any changes.
Wow.
So you talk about a frustrating 2 years. My first 2 years as being head coaches, taking over for a legend in Bernie Nowatarsky in Reading, and then trying to rebrand and regrow and build the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks after the first year debacle of hirings and firings there that went on. Not a good. I mean, we went 6-8 my first year. Ended up having to fire an assistant coach a month into it. I had to beg the owners to allow me to do it, and then letting go some of the other coaching staff at the end of that season and not renew their contract because I wanted to start fresh and build it the way I wanted to build it, and they gave me that autonomy to do it, and it was awesome.
Who'd you bring in to coach there?
What's that?
Who'd you bring in to coach there with you?
Kenny Miller, Bob Kohler, John Zima. I mean, it's, Bill Sellers, Pat Sisk, Preston McKnight, had done some things on the side for me. Guys that I trust, guys that I have relationships with and know what type of coaches they are and people they are. Matt Cohen, former player, it was just,
I think we had some players. I think we had a kid that played for me his rookie year from West Virginia, Larry Ford, maybe. Didn't he play for you as well?
Larry played for me for 3 or 4 years in Lehigh. Yep.
Larry, I remember seeing that name out there.
Yeah,
but it's small, man.
He might still be playing.
What's that?
He might still be playing with the West Virginia Rough Riders, I think. In the NAL. I don't know. I don't know if he is or not.
Damn, because he played for me in 2011.
Yeah.
In Florida. So that's crazy. But I mean, I love the arena football game. Hate the business. Yeah. It's kind of like a love-hate for me. And it's like I want to be involved in it because the game is so awesome.
Yeah.
But gosh, it's hard hard not to lose money.
Yeah, that's the thing. And unless you can, one of the things that, again, you were aware of it, community involvement, and that was one of the things that we were so, kind of steadfast to with the junior league that we started and the academic programs that we did, and just trying to visit schools and help with bullying and things like that, and helping with all those things that other programs and pro teams are doing, even with that, after 8 years, the team doesn't exist, and I get it. It's a shame because I wish it still did. And because it was a great area. Lehigh was awesome place.
That arena is really nice.
Unbelievable. And the people that are there, Gunnar Fox, the GM, and the Brooks brothers who own the Phantoms. And it's, I miss it. I miss it tremendously. And the people that the relationships that we built and the kids that were involved and, the hospital that was involved. I mean, all those things. So,
yeah, no, it's, the cool thing is though, like for me at this stage too, is it's like every which way I turn, it's like, you see somebody that was part of, the journey or, somebody that can relate to some of those stories. So it was all good. So I'm sure you're going to bounce back soon. So just hang in there, man, stay positive. And I'm not starting a team. So there's not going to be an opportunity here. Did you hear that, Leah? She just came over here. So I'm like, I could see the eyes rolling as I said it to you out the corner of my eye. So
yeah, I don't see a red dot floating around. So I don't see a red dot from a gun floating around.
Not yet. I'm good. She'll wait till the camera's turned off for that. So.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Well, let's definitely keep in touch, and it was good to chat with you and kind of reminisce on some of those old stories. So appreciate you joining me.
Yep. Thanks for having me.